Welcome once again here on Regional Radio Sports. We're from Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana. As we continue here, it's Bethel Men's Volleyball Media Day. Glad to be joined here by Benjamin Ritzema. And Ben, first of all, I just want to talk about a kid who grew up in Northwest Indiana and in the Chicagoland suburbs there in South Holland, Illinois, and just talk about coming here and be a part of a really historical moment in this institution, be a part of men's volleyball. Are you excited about what has transpired thus far and excited about the future?
Oh, I'm super pumped. It's so fun to be a part of a team like this, and just the level of play that's a part of the team. We just had our first games this past weekend, and just to see the level of play. And one of my favorite things as a volleyball player is to just watch like the cool plays unfold, And so I don't get in much, but when I can just watch my teammates and like one of them gets a huge kill, like I just love being a part of that in itself, And so just to see the high level of play that we have from some of the players that our coach recruited, it's always just super fun, and it's just super cool to be a part of history and stuff like that.
Well, at 5'11", you're kind of like one of the small guys in this lineup, and that in itself is unique. But as a libero and a person who's going to be making plays, you're really the quarterback, and you're the guy who's going to have to make kind of plays. So compared to some other sports where in this role, height is a non-factor, right? Right. In your position.
Yeah. So as a libero, you kind of just want to be able to take charge of the court, because we don't want our setters taking the first ball, because we want to run a smooth offense where everyone's available. So as a libero, it's kind of your job to take control, and you got to just be able to dig a lot of balls that come at you and be able to set up your offense to succeed,
I'm a big proponent of athletes in high school playing multiple sports. You played multiple sports.
I did.
In high school. I just think the opportunity for an athlete to get the chance to understand the different coaching styles, principles, and delivery on how a coach A can coach this way, Coach B can coach this way, Coach C can do this. So you can speak to that and talk about what you learned by being a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah, I sure can. I mean, it's always something you look back at and you're like, man, if I would have just zoned in on this one sport, where would I be today, But I don't regret any part of being a part of multiple sports. You just get to interact with different people and just play a new sport. And so just seeing different coaching styles is just it's really interesting, because some sports are more popular than others at certain high schools. So you'll see one coach who's very invested into their sport, which is super cool to see, and you have an appreciation for that. But it might not be as appreciated by the other people within that school, but they still have that desire to grow that sport. I wrestled in high school, and we didn't have a lot of guys on the wrestling team, but man, did our wrestling coach just love the sport. And whoever came up into that wrestling room, he was ready to teach, and he just showed his love for it. Same with volleyball. It wasn't super popular, but our coach, probably one of the most knowledgeable coaches of his sport that I've ever met, and I feel like I could speak to that pretty well.
So what was the lure to come to Bethel to be a part of this first-year program?
Well, I was kind of in an interesting stage, because I was all set to go to a different college to play volleyball, and then the coach, stuff fell through with that, so I ended up taking a gap year, and I was just looking on Google for some NAIA program, and all of a sudden Bethel popped up. And I kind of wanted it to be like a small Christian school within 3 hours away, still in the Midwest, and they checked all the boxes, and the men's program was starting, so I was like, might as well hop on that. And so it's just a really, how it all just fell into place. It's really, really convenient and really ordained by God,
Kind of walk us through some of the things you've learned about Coach Eric Snyder here in the early stages. I know that you look at his resume, it's very, very successful. Everywhere he's gone, he has been successful. Everywhere he's gone, he has been victorious. Talk about that.
You can tell that he's been doing this for a while, just to organizing the practice plan, to choosing the practice plan, to organizing just stuff like whether it be how we go about getting to games, and everything is so set in place. And he's also just a very much he will like cut nonsense. So like obviously you can joke around. You're gonna have some college guys. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna joke around. But as soon as there's a line, he is on it and he's like, all right, this is where we cut it. And there's not really like gray area. It's like, here's what it is. And so I really appreciate that, because not only is it important to be successful on the court, but it's also important to be successful off the court. And that's something that he really pushes, whether it be team GPAs or just how we act in general.
I think Eric has the biggest challenge of any coach here, because he's got kids from all over the globe, and English is not their primary language. So he's got to be able to take the Brazilians, the Portuguese, the kids from Turkey, the kids from all over the United States. And that is a challenge right then and there.
Really
so talk about the dynamics of everybody communicating.
Well, it's nice because obviously Brazilians, they speak Portuguese. And one of our Brazilians, his name is Arthur, and then our Portuguese, his name is Miguel, both speak very good English. And so they can help relay to our other Brazilian if stuff's a little confusing, but he's getting much better too. And with the guys from Turkey, it's tough because they all have like kind of the same amount of English knowledge, so we're kind of stuck in the middle where we don't have anyone that speaks perfect English, but they're like they know enough to get by, so it makes some communication a little bit slower, but in the end we can work it out, and it really is worth it because you have such a bigger talent pool that you're pulling from when you can go overseas, and so it's really nice.
What's it going to be like in the Goodman Gymnasium this weekend when you guys open up? Are you excited about this?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. You just walk around campus and people are excited, and you talk to some people. We actually had just an inter-squad scrimmage that was open to the public, and that was even pretty packed. And just being in other gymnasiums this weekend and just feeling the vibe from there and knowing what Goodman could be it's really exciting, because that it could be a true home court advantage in there.
Best of luck, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Once again, Ben Ritzema joining us here. We're glad he could do so. We'll be back with more from Bethel University right after this.